Practice disappointing people. Yeah, I know it might sound crazy, but you have to get to a point where you no longer care what people think or feel about you. Hey, Shigobo, welcome back to the channel. So today we are getting into the fine line between healthy loyalty and blind loyalty. So I'll break down 8 major signs you might be loyal to a fault, and of course, how to break free and reclaim your power, reclaim your worth. Because let's face it, sticking around in places where you're undervalued, that's no loyalty, that's self-betrayal. Let's be real. Loyalty is one of the most beautiful traits a person can have. But what if I told you that your loyalty is the very thing keeping you stuck? Loyalty is beautiful until it turns into a trap. Yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow. Blind loyalty is when you stay dedicated to people, to jobs, situations that no longer serve you simply because you feel obligated to. So, are you loyal or just loyal? Let's find out. Note, this is for anyone who's ever felt guilty for leaving or afraid to say no or stuck in relationships that drain them. Now, let's get straight into it. First sign you might just be loyal to a fault, you justify poor treatment. Now, what do I mean? If you constantly make excuses for someone's bad behavior, whether it's a friend who only calls when they need something, or a partner who disrespects your boundaries, who makes you feel less, or a job that drains your soul, you might just be operating from blind loyalty. Psychology calls this the just world fallacy, where you convince yourself that if you stay long enough, things will get better, things will change. Spoiler alert, they don't. They won't. People don't magically change just because you've earned their kindness. If they can mistreat you comfortably, they will continue to do so, and that's because you allow it. Now, how do you break free? A simple question I'll ask you. Would you tolerate this if it was happening to your best friend? If the answer is no, then why are you tolerating it for yourself? There's a difference between being selfless, a clear difference between being selfless and being a doormat. If you find yourself constantly putting others first, even at the expense of your mental health, at the expense of your peace of mind, at the expense of your finance or even your happiness, girlfriend, you're not being loyal. You're being self-sacrificial. Sacrificial lamb. This is usually rooted in people pleasing tendencies. Maybe you were taught that being good means being available 24/7. Maybe you think that saying no makes you selfish. But let me tell you something. Healthy people respect boundaries. If someone gets angry when you finally put yourself first because you started putting yourself first, they were never in it for you. They were in it for what they could get from you, how it makes them feel for themselves. Now, how do you break free? Practice disappointing people. Yeah, I know it might sound crazy, but you have to get to a point where you no longer care what people think or feel about you. Practice disappointing people with your full chest. You are an adult. You make decisions for yourself. Stand up for yourself. People will always say whatever, whether you please or not. The point is, you're standing up for yourself. You're putting yourself first. Because let me tell you something. Every time you say yes to someone else at your own expense, you're saying no to yourself. You're pulling yourself down. You're not standing up for yourself. So you want to start small. Say no to that event you don't want to attend. Let someone else figure out their own crisis. When you practice this, watch how your life changes. The third sign that you might just be loyal to a fault, you might be loyal to a fault, you stay in one-sided relationships. Loyalty is a two-way street. If you are the only one checking in, constantly checking in, you're the only one trying to hold the relationship together, you're the only one trying to make you work. My dear, you are not in a relationship. You are in emotional labor. See, blind loyalty tricks you into believing that if you keep giving, one day they'll reciprocate. Let's be honest, if someone actually wanted to, they would. So stop giving excuses to people, stop making excuses for people who will show up for you. If they never check in, why bend over backward to keep the connection alive? Let it go. How do you break free? Match energy. Start matching energy. Vibe for vibe, aura for aura, energy for energy. You see this one here? Don't beat yourself up. You need to start standing up for yourself. Your peace, your sanity matters. Your emotions matter. You matter. The fourth sign you might just be loyal to a fault. You fear walking away because of history. History doesn't equal value. You don't owe anyone a lifetime commitment just because you've known them for a long time, just because you've been together for a very long time. We grow, we evolve, and sometimes we outgrow people, jobs, and even belief systems. See, blind loyalty will have you clinging to situations that no longer align with the person you're becoming, all because of guilt, Don't let people or situations guilt trip you into accepting the bare minimum. So how do you break free from this? You need to shift your perspective. Instead of asking, how long have I known this person for? Ask, what does this relationship add to my life today, as of today? If the answer is nothing but stress, obligation, guilt, heartache, sis, it's time to let it go. Now, the fifth sign you might be loyal to a fault. You stay even when you're unhappy. You see this one right here? This one is the most dangerous one. If you stay in a situation just because you don't want to be seen as disloyal, you don't want to be seen as ungrateful, girlfriend, that is not loyalty, that's self-abandonment. This applies to toxic workplaces, draining friendships, unhealthy family dynamics, and relationships where you feel more tired, you feel exhausted than loved. Blind loyalty convinces you that leaving means you're a bad person. But let me ask you this. Who told you that you're supposed to suffer in the name of loyalty? How do you break free? Understand that your happiness is your responsibility, your sole responsibility. If a situation is constantly leaving you drained, exhausted, miserable, unseen, unloved, it's okay to walk away. Give yourself grace. Give yourself permission to choose you. The next sign, which is the sixth one, that you might be loyal to a fault, you feel responsible for other people's emotions. Let me tell you something that will set you free. Other people's emotions, other people's feelings, other people's happiness is not, not, not your responsibility. If you constantly walk on eggshells, suppress your feelings, or extend yourself just to make others happy, girlfriend, you're not being loyal. You're being an emotional doormat. And let's be real, after time, these same people won't lift a finger for you. You see this mindset? It's rooted in emotional manipulation where people guilt trip you into fixing their mess, carrying their burdens, or you staying small so they can feel big, or making you feel like they are doing a lot whereas it's bare minimum. Now, how do you fix this? Stop absorbing people's emotions. If someone is upset, let them deal with it. You're not a therapist, you're not a savior, you're not a dumping ground for their problems. Protect your peace. The next sign, which is the seventh sign, you might just be loyal to a fault. You stay silent when you should speak up. Loyalty doesn't mean suffering in silence. If you bite your tongue, suppress your feelings, tolerate disrespect just to keep the peace, you're betraying yourself. Blind loyalty teaches you to shrink, teaches you to accept crumbs, teaches you to avoid confrontation, teaches you to pretend everything is fine when it's not. But let's be honest here, I'll be blunt with you. Silence doesn't buy you peace or happiness, it buys you resentment. And over time, it can make you become bitter, it can make you become a bitter person. How do we fix this? Break free from this by speaking up. Even if your voice is shaky, speak out. The right people will respect your honesty. You see the wrong ones, they'll show their true colors. Either way, you win. The eighth sign you might be loyal to a fault, which is the final sign for today in this video, is that you are more loyal to their potential than their reality. You see the potential, yeah? Now you choose to stay. You're thinking maybe one day they will change. Even when all the signs are screaming at you to leave, when the flags, the red signs, the red flags are screaming at you to leave, you convince yourself that probably it's just orange, it's not red, it's yellow. My dear, you are doing yourself more harm. Let me be brutally honest with you. Potential is an illusion. You need to stop falling in love with what they could be. Instead, start seeing them for who they actually are, who they really are. If they're inconsistent now, they'll be inconsistent later, or maybe even always. If they don't value you now, they never will. So, how do you break free? Accept reality, not words, not vibes, not promises, reality. What do their actions show you? If it's not what you deserve, cut your losses and move on. Loyalty is a powerful thing, it's a beautiful thing, but when misplaced, it can turn into a cage. Real loyalty should feel safe, should feel mutual, reciprocal, and fulfilling, not draining, exhausting, and painful or one sided. So, the next time you feel guilty for walking away from a situation that no longer serves you, that no longer aligns with who you are becoming, remember that your loyalty should never cost you your self worth. If you take nothing else from this, remember that your loyalty should never come at the cost of your self respect, your self worth, your peace of mind, and your sanity. Choose yourself first. Be loyal to yourself. Stay true to yourself. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Take good care of yourself. Bye.